So I just wanted to do a little documentation on an upgrade that I'm doing on the Subaru. The tires that I bought on it when I got it a couple of years ago, I purchased in anticipation of a lot of road trip time. And I did get that, 3 or 4 trips up to Seattle. And the tires worked okay for that. They weren't anything special. Now I've fully retired, and I'm living out in the woods outside of Prescott, I know, Arizona, Prescott for the locals. And I've got more dirt time that I'm spending in the Subaru, so I need something a little bit more aggressive. And I wanted to get some, I'm getting those put on today, going with some General Grabber ATX. This is the tire. What is it? A Trezzo. I just got it from local, home-owned tire company here in town. Mom and pop kind of place. And as you can see, I'm, halfway down on the tread. Doing a sound check around 25 miles an hour on these Trezzos that I've had on the Subaru for quite a while. Just want to have something to compare the Grabber ATX when I get it for cab noise. I've always sort of heard the tires anyway. Foresters are kind of known for that. They're not the quietest vehicles out there. The new ones, of course, but I don't know. I think this is a Gen 2. It's a 2006. It's either a Gen 2 or a Gen 3. And it's always been a little bit noisy, but for 31 years, I drove a Toyota FJ40 Land Cruiser, and most of that time that was run with recap tires that I got over at Dunn Tire. I'm running at 45 miles an hour. Of course, I am going to need to check the speedometer with the new tires because there is an inch difference in height. They do fit in the wheel wells, and I've done a couple of sharp turns. I've got no rub. I don't feel anything on the strut towers, on the the base of the strut towers, the coil base. They feel great. This is a very nice handling tire. So if you, and you'll hear it a little bit more when we come out here and run up to 50 and so. Excuse me. So I'm going to be going back the same way I came in, and that'll give me a relevant point of comparison. Well, a more relevant point of comparison. I do, the steering wheel is much more intentional. The tires have a very wide and significant footprint. They have a good contact patch, which is half, if not 3/4 the reason why I got them. But it doesn't feel like difficult to initiate the turns. They're responsive, and matter of fact, when I came out of the tire shop and dropped down over the gutter to get onto the street, I was surprised at the we call it the elasticity of the tire to absorb those that shock. Make a huge difference. Okay, here we go. Here's the noise. That's the car noise. So one of the characteristics of this tire on the Subaru, I don't know about for other vehicles, in a sweeping mid or high speed turn, there does seem to be a yearning to follow the inertia, so to speak. So it doesn't hold as tight as a regular highway tread, understandably. Probably in all situations, but in particular at a moderate 40-45 mile an hour, and probably above or beyond that speed, there's going to be a tendency for the car to feel like it wants to go ahead and lean over to that side and give into the momentum and the inertial pull into the corner, give into the G-force, so to speak. 25 and 30 mile an hour twisty turns, very, very strong feeling, very secure grip on the road, and because that's cool. We have a lot of mountain roads around here. I am not on one of those mountain roads at the moment. I'm on a section of road, a street, if you will. It's called 29 Turns, and there are 29 if you count the little anything off a straight line. You know, small town country kids, nothing better to do. Good solid feel to these tires. Again, it's the General Grabber ATX, and manufacturer recommendation for the 06 Subaru Forester is a 21560R16, a 21560 R16. But the General Grabber ATX is not available in that size. It's available in the 65. So it's available in a 21565 R16. And it fits just right in the wheel well. And there we go. So 35, 34, 35, 36. And you can see that's right where we are. So not that much difference. So not that much difference in the speedometer with the increased diameter of these Grabber ATX tires, which is nice. It may be accentuated, of course, at a higher speed. So that any speedometer influence that the tires exhibit, of course, will be more prevalent at higher speeds. But for driving around town, and I would think even up to 50 miles an hour or so, it should be right on the money. I am just really, I can't say enough about how these tires feel different. Changes it right into an SUV for the feel of that, which is exactly what I wanted. I haven't noticed any type of rubbing on the turns, full left or full right. I know it's not scientific to say it this way, but it feels like the car is a little bit taller. If you do this, and you should know this by now, being a Subaru owner, the all-wheel drive demands that all of the tires have the same diameter, the same overall diameter. So, hello mosquito. So while I did, of course, get the 4 to be running on the Subaru all the time, the spare is just a regular kind of a highway tread, inexpensive, just get me where I need to go in case I have a catastrophic failure on one of the tires. I'm going to go play a little bit right up in here. Nice climbing characteristics, very sticky. It just came up this rise here, and it was not a problem. The only problem I had was not knowing what was on the other side. So there's level, and this is what I just came up without a problem, no problem at all. And as far as braking, they've got good. I'm not getting, there's a little slip on that rock. That's about it. So coming back downhill on the dirt, it holds you in place. Feels pretty good. I'm glad I got them. Of course, I suppose I could take them back. That's one of the things about discount tires, that they've got that, oh, if you're not satisfied, bring them back. I think they're only kidding though when they're talking. I remember the video that they had, somebody throwing a tire through a window. I think they kind of frown on that. So, if you know what you're doing and you've driven around in low clearance vehicles in the past out in the woods, if you've driven around in the woods before in a low clearance vehicle, and you put these on your Subaru, and remind yourself not to get like stupid, you'll do fine. I learned how to drive around in these woods here in the Prescott National Forest in a, gosh, what was it, a 69 Maverick, with mud and snow tires on the back. And then the first car that I bought, you're not going to believe this, the first car that I bought was a 63 Triumph Spitfire. And I still made it to the boonie parties out in the woods out here. So, like, took it up Schoolhouse Gulch Road and things like that. Okay, speed test on the dirt. Speed test on the dirt. Sure feels good. Holy moly. No brake on that. No traction brake on that little swerve that I did. Handles the rough just great. I don't know. I could probably get the tires to break traction if I was being super squirrely. And I'm not gonna be. Super grippy. Get into a little bit of washboard on that corner, and of course the tire is already 50% off the dirt because you're going through the bumps. You're only hitting the tops of the bumps. So there was a little bit of A little bit of washout there, but I'm telling you, some sweet shoes. Coming through, bub. Coming through, coming through, coming through. Why don't you just, Jesus. That spot that I stopped at in the forest was kind of canted to one side. And that's pretty much a good amount of clearance on these. Now, the back I'm a little more concerned with, because when I put the lift kit on it, looks like only about 2.5 inches clearance on that rear spot. I hope I don't have to get a trailing arm spacer to make up for that, but we will see. It certainly changes the overall appearance, and it changes the handling quite a bit. It does feel a little bit harder to get rolling. I'm guessing these tires are probably an easy 20% heavier than the passenger highway treads that I had on it before. So I would strongly suggest, if you're looking for a more aggressive tire and you're not worried about getting a lot of highway miles, but you're doing some off-road, you know, Flagstaff area, Payson, White Mountains, various portions of Colorado, 215 65 R16s. The stock is a 215 60 R16, but General doesn't make the Grabber in that size. But as you can see, the 215 65 R16 does fit in there, and I took it out doing a little trailing today through some pretty rutty areas, and I had no contact in the wheel wells and no limit on the maneuverability of the tires within the wheel wells.